Apollonia, known in the early Islamic period as Arsuf, and in the Crusader kingdom of Jerusalem as Arsuf, was an ancient city on the Mediterranean coast of what is today Israel. In Israel archaeology, it is known as Tel Arsuf. Founded by the Phoenicians during the Persian period in the late 6th century BCE, it was inhabited continuously until the Crusader period through the Hellenistic, Roman, and Byzantine periods, during the latter being renamed to Susa. It was situated on a sandy area ending towards the sea with a cliff about 34 kilometers or 21 miles south of Caesarea. It fell to the Muslims in 640 AD, was fortified against Byzantine attacks, and became known as Arsuf. In 1101, it was conquered by the Kingdom of Jerusalem and was a strategically important stronghold in the Third Crusade, during which the Battle of Arsuf, 1191, was fought nearby. The fortified city and the castle fell to the Mamluks in 1265, when both were completely destroyed. The site of Arsuf, also Apollonia, is now in the affluent city of Herzliya, just north of Tel Aviv. The site was intensively excavated from 1994. In 2002, Apollonia National Park was opened to the public. The above-ground remains before the excavations included the medieval city wall and moat, enclosing an area of about 90 dunam, a Crusader castle with a double wall system with an area of about 4 dunam, a port with built jetties and a sheltered anchorage protected by a sandstone reef. Large amounts of pottery were recovered in the area surrounding the city, mostly of the Byzantine and early Islamic period, indicating that the city extended significantly beyond its old walls in the 7th century. A large Roman-era Villa Maritima was uncovered at the site. The city was created by the Phoenicians, who called it Arsuf, after their god Arsuf. Here they produced purple dye and traded with the countries. During the Hellenistic period, the Greek identified Arsuf with Apollo, and so they called it Apollonia. In the Roman period, the city grew and developed, as evidenced by the villa discovered in the south of the site. It was during this time that the city grew in size and importance, and a harbor was constructed. During the Byzantine period, Apollonia, then called Susa, reached the peak of its prosperity and was the urban center of the entire region. The city had facilities for processing agricultural produce, an extensive glass industry, and an active port. Following the Muslim conquest in the 7th century CE, its name was changed to Arsuf. It was surrounded by a wall, and in the center, a market street was built. The city was taken by the Crusaders, who built a fortress in the north, and it became a Crusader stronghold. It had a gate with semicircular towers on either side and large halls around an open courtyard. The fortress had 3 sets of walls surrounded by a broad moat, and a protected harbor was built on the breakwaters at the foot of the cliff. In 1265, the city was recaptured by the Muslims. The city was razed to the ground and never inhabited again. The seal of Arsuf illustrates the inner gate, the tower on its side, and the keep behind it. A placard of a Crusader knight protects the gate. It has the seal of the Order of the Hospitallers. The knights of this order, named after John the Baptist. Past the gate is a large courtyard in the center of the fortress surrounded by rooms. This was the lower floor of the two-story structure. Steps on the west side lead up to the second floor and down to the two underground floors. The floors above and below the courtyard are now missing. The courtyard, a layer of rough plaster, is 28 meter long and 10 meter wide. The Crusader Keep, the donjon in French or keep in English, is a strong and central tower which is used either as a tower, inner fortress, or dungeon. The keep of Arsuf is located on the western side of the castle, beyond the courtyard. It has an octagon shape and was 10 meters high. Now, only the base of the tower remains after it was dismantled in 1265. Kitchen and dining area. The kitchen is located on the north side of the courtyard. In the kitchen are 5 ovens, 2 plastered water pools, and a water channel. The dining room is located on the northwest room near the kitchen. The archaeologists discovered many clay bowls and decorated glazed pottery from the Crusader period. Near the kitchen is a large storage installation used for storage of grains and other food products. The installation is around 3.3 meters in diameter with a stone dome supported by dressed stones and covering the floor. On the floor are black basalt stones, formerly grinding stones. Structures above the cliff. On the cliff above the harbor was a complex of subterranean halls. Their ruins are seen beyond the line of the castle. Most of the structures were damaged after the 1265 conquest, falling into the sea. The southeast room faced the bridgehead and the south moat. In this room is a collection of ballista stones and were shot from the fortress during the 1265 assault. Another view of the ballista rocks is below. A total of 2,200 stones and numerous arrowheads were collected around the fortress. On the southwest room is another pile of ballista rocks. On the walls of this room is an evidence of the great fire that burned the fortress after it was captured. Crusader Harbor. The Crusaders built a harbor in front of the castle. There were 2 breakwater walls. The northern underwater wall is clearly visible here, stretching diagonally outward from the shore. The harbor has a trapezoid shape 80 meters in length and 30 meters wide. The northern breakwater is seen next. It's 40 meters long and 4.5 meters wide on the average. The ruins of a round tower, once measuring 12 meters in diameter, is located at its western end. The Crusaders constructed a tunnel access from the shore into the castle. However, the location of this tunnel has not been yet discovered. The display. Near the entrance to the fortress is a collection of marble columns collected from the archaeological excavations. Nearby are a number of models representing medieval military siege instruments, ballista or bolt thrower, catapult or the ballistic device to throw rocks, trebuchet or swinging arm, and battering ram breaching fortifications. The ballista, sometimes known as a bolt thrower, was a siege weapon that was able to launch large projectiles at targets in the distance. Similar to a large crossbow, it is used the tension of a series of springs to launch large bolts. The Crusader dwellings. In this excavation area, on the south edge of the Crusader town, are a number of dwelling buildings. They were first constructed in the Byzantine and early Arab period. The structures were destroyed in the 12th century, then reconstructed after the return of the Crusaders. They were abandoned after the Mamluk conquest of 1265. Crusader City Wall. The Crusader fortress was constructed on the northwest corner of the city. However, the entire city was much larger, which required to construct massive fortification. During the early period of the Arab, new wall was constructed around the area of the city. The Crusaders later reused the Arab city wall in order to protect the Crusader town. Under the medieval period layers, there were structures, installations, tombs, and other findings related to the earlier periods of occupation. The Samaritan wine press. A large Samaritan wine press dated to the 5th and 6th century AD was unearthed north of the castle. It includes a large threading floor paved with mosaics and a very large fermentation pit. The floor is where the grapes are laid and crushed by the feet of the workers extracting the juice. The threading floor is 9.8 meter by 7.5 meter and has a Greek inscription in its center, "Only God help." In this area, east of the lime kiln, is another area of excavation. The archaeologists unearthed a Byzantine period wine press complex and Roman Hellenistic burial jars and tombs on an earlier layer. During the Byzantine period, 5th to 6th century AD, the port city flourished, spreading over 280 dunam, 28 hectares. It had agriculture installation used for exporting goods as well as manufacturing glass. One of the glass fragments were seen near the wine press. 12 glass furnaces were located in Apollonia and around it. Near the entrance to the National Park grounds, inside and adjacent to the medieval town walls, the archaeologists unearthed a section of a Samaritan synagogue. The room that was excavated was plastered and has a trapezoid shape with an area of 6.5 meter by 7.5 meter. There is a semicircular plastered niche on its side and an opening on the north. The room was dated to the early Byzantine period. A mosaic inscription written in 2 languages was found on this floor. It reads in Greek, "Only one God can help, and who deserve it." The Samaritan script reads "possession" in its place. Cistern and lime kiln. Water supply was based on rock-cut cisterns and water pools that stored the runoff winter rain water. Along the path to the fortress is a barrel vault constructed above one of the cisterns. Other pools and cisterns are spread along the stretch of the national park. Cistern is a large hole dug in the ground, usually in bedrock, that is designed to store rainwater. It differs from a well significantly in that it only holds captured rainwater, as opposed to tapping into an underground water source. Closer to the fortress, in an Ottoman period, lime kiln. The kiln, measuring 4 meters in circumference, was used to burn limestone. The process produced quicklime through the calcination of limestone. It required a temperature of 900 degrees, which was reached in the oven, thanks to the dome that covered the pit where the fire was baking the limestone. The product, quicklime, was used as a sealant to cover the surface of the cisterns, thus preserving the water in the reservoirs. It was also a key ingredient for the process of making cement. Well, it is said earlier, rainwater seeps in the ground until it reaches a non-permeable layer of rock. So, wouldn't rainwater seep through the walls of a cistern dug in a porous layer? Yes, it would. If a cistern was just a hole in the ground, but one of the most significant inventions in antiquity was lime plaster. I hope you find this video very informative and educational. If so, please don't forget to like my video and also my channel. Please subscribe to my channel. Please share it to your loved one, to your friends, and share the good vibes. Thank you. Goodbye.